Hello everyone, welcome back to English Right Now, a channel where I help you master British pronunciation with a focus on a modern British RP accent. My name is Roy, your British English teacher, and today in this lesson we're going to dive into 10 tricky words that you, my wonderful students, have suggested. Now, these words can be quite challenging, but they are brilliant, brilliant suggestions, and with a little practice, you'll be pronouncing them like a native speaker in no time. So let's get started. So the first word we're going to look at is this commonly requested word. Now, I'm actually going to talk about 3 ways that you may hear it pronounced in the UK. So the first pronunciation is vulnerable. Vulnerable. 4 syllables, the stress falls on the first. So it's v, a, ul, the dark L. Then the second syllable is n, a schwa, and so we voice the R in this word. The third syllable is another schwa, and the fourth syllable is b, a schwa, and another dark L. Vulnerable. 4 syllables, the stress falls on the first. Now, another way you may hear this pronounced in the UK is with 3 syllables, as some people may drop the schwa in the second syllable. So instead of saying vulnerable, they may say vulnerable. So we just drop that schwa in the second syllable. But another way, and it is recognised in the Cambridge Dictionary, is that some people will drop the dark L in the first syllable and just say vulnerable. Still got 3 syllables, still stress on the first, but they cut that ul sound. So this word, you may hear it pronounced as vulnerable, vulnerable, or vulnerable. I'll let you choose which one you prefer. And now it's time for number 2, and this is the name of a county in England. So this one gets asked for all the time. So this is Worcestershire. 3 syllables, the stress falls on that first syllable. So it's w, s, wus, then t, and a schwa, Worcester, which is actually the name of a city in the UK. And then that last syllable is sh, Worcestershire. It is not Worcestershire or Worcestershire. It is Worcestershire. Now, if you want to talk about the source, we add the word sauce on the end, which is s or s, Worcestershire sauce. And if these 2 words are put together, there is the main stress on the second word of sauce and a minor stress, a lesser stress, on the first syllable of Worcestershire. So it becomes Worcestershire sauce. Do you like Worcestershire sauce? I mean, let me know. Now, number 3 is one that causes a lot of confusion, and I totally understand why, because in a modern British RP accent, this word is pronounced lieutenant. 3 syllables, the stress falls on the second syllable, so it's lieutenant. But you'll hear the way that we pronounce it, it has the f sound in it. But look at the word, there is no F in that word, so yeah. But the pronunciation in a modern British RP accent is technically l, e, f. Then the second stressed syllable is t, e, n. And then the last syllable is a schwa, n, t, lieutenant. Now, the American pronunciation is lieutenant, which, I've got to be honest, it makes a bit more sense than lieutenant due to the lack of an F. But I will also say this, that a number of people in the UK will actually use the American pronunciation. They will say lieutenant instead of lieutenant, and that's probably because how often do you actually say this word unless you're in the army or you hold some kind of rank in an organisation which uses this name, which is why a lot of people probably say lieutenant because of the influence of Hollywood. But technically, in a modern British RP accent, this word is lieutenant. And by the way, I really hope that you're saying these words with me because this is how we master pronunciation. This is a great pronunciation tip. You should be repeating after me. Maybe you can pause the video and start it again once I've said the word. And then you should try saying it at the same time as me. Lieutenant. But now it's time for number 4, and this one gets requested a lot. So here it is. Pomegranate. 4 syllables. The main stress falls on the first syllable, and there is a lesser stress on the third syllable. So it is pomegranate. So it's p, o, m, pom, then I, and then g, r. We voice the R, a, n, and then the last syllable is it. Pomegranate. 4 syllables, Stress on the first with a lesser stress on the third. Pomegranate. Let me know if you do enjoy pomegranates, or indeed this was a word that you found tricky to say in a modern British RP accent. And remember to say it with me. Pomegranate. Now, number 5 is a commonly requested word, and it's also a really commonly mispronounced one. It is iron. I say it with 2 syllables, stress on the first. Iron. Iron. So that first syllable is I, like this thing, your I, or the pronoun I. And then in the second syllable, there is a schwa and a n. Iron. Iron. In a modern British RP accent, we do not pronounce that sound. We do not pronounce the R. There is a silent R. Now, common mistakes I hear with this word is saying the R as iron. In American English, they do say the R and it sounds more like iron. Iron. So it's still I, and a n. Iron. But in a modern British RP accent, this is iron. 2 syllables, stress falls on the first. Now, number 6 is this word, and it is embedded. 3 syllables, the stress falls on the second syllable. So the first syllable is I, im. Then we have a stress syllable, which is b, e, d, embed, embed. And then the last syllable is I, d, embedded. 3 syllables, the stress falls on the second syllable. Say that with me. Embedded. But now let's move on to number 7. I nearly did a number 8, but now let's move on to number 7. And this one is one of the most commonly requested words. It's a 2-syllable word, squirrel. Squirrel. 2 syllables. The stress falls on the first syllable. So it is sk, and then we have the I sound, squid, and then we voice the R, But the R kind of moves over into the second syllable in front of that schwa, so it becomes squirrel. Notice that that L is the dark L, O. Squirrel. Make sure you're saying that one with me because this word gets asked for all the time. Squirrel. 2 syllables, stress falls on the first. And now it's time for number 8. This one, pattern. 2 syllables, stress on the first. P, a, t, pat. And then the second syllable is a schwa and n. Pattern. Please notice that it is not pattern. We don't pronounce the R. And also that final n sound, the final N is pronounced n, not n. It's not patterner, patterner, it's pattern. Thank you very much for sending that one over. And now, here is number 9, a really, really commonly requested one. And I'm going to talk about 2 different ways you may hear this pronounced in a modern British RP accent. So the way I say this word is literally. Literally. 3 syllables, the stress falls on the first. So we have l, I, t, lit, then a litra, and then l, I, literally. 3 syllables, the stress falls on the first. Now, another way you may hear this is with an extra schwa just before the sound, so it becomes more like literally. 4 syllables, but stress still on the first. Now, personally, I say it with 3. Maybe that makes me a bit lazy because I've dropped that schwa, but you will hear some people say it with 4. Let me know which one you prefer, 3 syllables or 4, literally or literally. And now here we are at number 10. It is this 5-syllable word, enthusiasm. 5 syllables, the stress falls on the second syllable. So the first syllable is I, n, in. Then we have the stress syllable of th, the unvoiced th sound. Then y, oo, enthew. The third syllable is z, e, a short e sound, enthusi. And then the fourth syllable is a, z. So there are 2 z sounds in this word. And the 5th syllable is a schwa and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Say it with me. 5 syllables, stress falls on the second, and notice that that final M, that is an sound, not a m. So we don't say enthusiasm, we say enthusiasm. So there you have it. There are 10 tricky words that you suggested that were hard to say in a modern British RP accent. Keep repeating them, keep practicing them with me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know anything you would like to see in a future video. But from me today, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye!